Everybody good? Yeah? I will ask if you're standing to take a seat, please. Please do so. If you're standing, please take a seat. We have these phenomenal speakers up here. We'd love to show them respect. I appreciate it. This conversation for me is very interesting because obviously, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jabbar Young and I'm a magazine writer at Forbes and I cover business. And so having this particular conversation with these three phenomenal speakers is very good because I'm getting a diversity of thought. It's a lot of conversations we was having in the back about strategic ways, solutions about black and brown businesses in 2025. What the state of them are, solutions that we need to move forward. We obviously know DEI has been shredded to pieces, but how can we move forward? Immigration right now, our Latino community, our brothers and sisters in the Latino community are under attack, right? How can we unify and help them move forward? And I want to start up this conversation. I want to ask, what if black and brown businesses in this country were equitably represented, right? What if we had just as many black businesses as we have black people in this country? We make up about 14% of the population here. So that's a 1,615,000 jobs or business that will be created, $1 trillion of revenue generated if we had enough black businesses to match our population. So this particular panel, we will tackle that. Drive prosperity, impact of black and brown businesses on the economy. We'll briefly focus on the vital role that minority businesses play in driving economic and innovation, with economic growth and innovation. And we'll also explore some of them who are shaping the financial landscape, right? So if you're a black business owner or a Latino business owner, who are some of the people that you can mimic in your business to help scale it? First, some data. Right, there are about 8.7 million black and brown businesses total across this country. 8.7 million black and brown businesses across this country. I get that right, Juan?
That's right. That's
Juan
right.
told me that's that just behind the stage. The average black employer business has about $850,000 in annual revenue. That's what they make. Compared to our white brothers and sisters, they have about 2.4 million. So there's a big disparity there. Huge disparity. How can we make that up? 90%, 96% of black-owned businesses, and here's a problem, sole proprietorships, right? That means that it's only one person running the entire operation. How can we better improve and create more black employer firms? We're talking about in areas like oil, mining, manufacturing, things that get out of the consumer packaged goods space, right? How can we be better at scaling those other businesses in other sectors? Hispanic-owned businesses, they represent about 8.2% of employer firms, right? Just some data. How many of you can guess what the best state for black employment is? You will never guess this, right? See the sister raising back here?
Georgia?
No, Nevada. Can you believe that? Nevada, yes, Nevada. And this is according to the Center of Economic Policy Research. I'm not making this up. Nevada, Maryland, Virginia, Texas, Florida, Connecticut, the best states for black employment. The worst, Arkansas, Michigan, Illinois, right here in Louisiana, and where I'm from in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Those are the worst, right? Very interesting data. I want to start this panel off by asking each of you one word to describe the state of black and brown businesses here in 2025. Why don't I start with you?
Thank you very much. So I would certainly say that
just one word.
Assault.
Assault. Why assault?
Because the government and the policies that it has been implementing, going after D&I policies, for example, puts our community under assault. The big beautiful bill, or the big bad bill, puts our community under assault.
Yeah.
And so that's my one word for the
Robert,
moment.
Assault. Robert, what you got?
Fertile.
Fertile? Why fertile?
Because everything is within us. Like when you say all of those numbers and the lack of funding that there is, and we're still able to make those level of results, to me that says the soil is ripe for opportunity.
Yeah. Elise?
Unfolding.
Unfolding. That's interesting. Why unfolding?
I believe because we are right now shifting to the real power. We are understanding our power. We are going further. We are fertile. So we are literally unfolding the power that we have to go further.
Yeah. I want to stick with you for a minute because I want to ask each of you to give the audience a status report on your company. That they may not know what your companies do. They may not know who you guys are. At least I'll start with you. Give me a status report on NVH Studios. This is a global group that designs lifestyle brands, right? Give me a status update and what the business mission is as we sit here in 2025 at NVH Studios.
The business mission is not changing from what we were before to this week, right? So we are a Kenyan brand. So let me start with Enda. So Enda is a sportswear brand out of Africa. It's the first sportswear brand going out of Africa that is going global and playing or competing in the global stage. And Enda is proudly part of NVH Studios, as we were saying. That is a holding company that has other two lifestyle brands. One is Eferino out of Brazil. The other one is Twins for Peace. Twins for Peace, it's a French boutique brand. And right now, what I would tell you that our mission is, it's to stay rooted, but going global, right? The purpose of our brands, all of our brands, is really on the building community side of it. It is to support the community. It's to build ecosystems where we can be developing, right? So it is not just marketing. It is not just being there for status. It's literally supporting and being part of our community.
Yeah. Juan, League of United Latin American Citizens, otherwise known as LULAC.
Well, LULAC is the country's oldest Latino civil rights organization. And so right now we find ourselves really focused on what we can do to help support Latino and minority communities across the country. And we're doing so primarily in a completely different way than we have in our past, which is fully intersectional. Working with our African American partners and allies, with women-led organizations, with GLBT groups as well. We're here to advocate for small businesses. We're here to advocate for Latinos and minorities across the country. And where we need to, we will stand up and we will fight through litigation in order to ensure those rights are protected.
Robert, what's going on over at the Broadway Collective?
So
You gotta give it up for Robert's outfit too, man. Come on, man. That brother, look at that outfit. I was all jumped like, man, you gonna upstage me? I done got a new suit made and you come in there with this.
But you look great.
Well, I appreciate it. You look
great,
better. You look
Jabari.
better.
So one of our programs is called Strength on Stages, and our mission is to help Black and brown female entrepreneurs take their side hustles and turn them into 6- and 7-figure small businesses. So right now, we're really helping them get their products and their programs launched, because we know that when we change the economy in our household, we're able to change our communities, and we're able to change truly what's happening at the state and national level.
Yeah. Robert, I want to stick with you for a minute because we had a pre-call this week and we were talking about some of the things we wanted to discuss on this very panel for you all. And you were very passionate about Black women being underfunded, being underrepresented. And you just had that passion, man. What is keeping you up at night when we talk about the underrepresentation, the underfunding of Black women?
It kills me because it's like looking at my mom. I work with mainly single moms who really want a different world for their kids. And I'm the person who went to all of the banks, and every bank for my house denied me, but it was a Black funder that actually helped, right? So what's keeping me up is making sure that these women have the skill, not just the skills, but really the tools to help grow their businesses when they cannot get the quote unquote traditional funding that many business owners will go and get. And so something that I love Jabari asked on our pre-call was, then what is the solution? You know, it's so, we always hear what the problem is, and I really believe that the solution is already within ourselves and within our communities. And what would happen if we start looking at our black brothers and our black sisters, and instead of going to big companies, we go to them, right? And that's what I want to fight for right now.
Yeah, and to add a little bit more context, I'm not sure how you all know, but $2.1 trillion. By 2026, that is what the black community, that's the spending power of the black community. $2.1 trillion. And think about that. That is bigger than the GDP of Mexico, bigger than the GDP of Canada. We spend more money than countries, right? And so what Robert's talking about is, instead of going and asking people for money, we can do that amongst ourselves and work amongst ourselves. One of the things we hear on Wall Street is how black and brown businesses, we don't talk to one another when it comes to doing business. We seek other outside businesses, but we don't talk to each other, knowing that we have $2.1 trillion of spending power. Think about that. Robert, I want to take it to you, man, because that's a piece of data, and we were talking in the back about the data that the Global Black Economic Forum as well as LULAC came up with. Give me some numbers that stood out to you. What surprised you about that report, that economic data report?
Well, you know, I would say that the combined buying power is $5.1 trillion.
Combined with black and brown
Black
communities.
and
Yes.
brown. And so for far too long, we've been looking at both communities in silos. We talk only about the African American community and the Latino community, and we don't talk about them combined. If you were to go to Walmart, they would tell you we have 20% African American employees. We have 30% Latino employees. Well, really, you have more than 50% black and brown employees. The same thing basically with Amazon, the second largest employer in the country, over 1 million employees. Those are warehouse jobs. They're over 50% Latino and African American communities. So we need to exercise that power. We need to talk about it in unity, and we have more power when we go to the table together. Myself and Alfonso or Derek Johnson or Mark Morial, we really need to work more closely together and be committed to it as a community.
Yeah. Elise, I want to shift to you because we were in the back talking about opportunities in Brazil and looking at this thing from an international standpoint. But before you do that, you talk to constituencies around the world. When they look at the U.S. and they look at DEI being shredded, they look at the immigration policy, how are they viewing us? Because I watch Bloomberg all the time, and I'm staying up at night, and I'm seeing all these other countries looking at us and just laughing at us, right? Europe, Africa, all of them. They're just sitting there laughing at us. What are you hearing when you go around the country with NVH studios around the world about how they're viewing the U.S. when it comes down to black and brown business?
I wouldn't say they're laughing. It's actually a concern, because we also have to understand that the U.S. is a model to other countries. So, for example, I'm from Brazil, from a very small city in Brazil, in Minas Gerais, and the dream of most of us is to come to the U.S.
Yeah.
So
Is that still a dream?
it is not. It is changing a little bit. So, for example, I'm going to talk about us, about black and brown community, right? So, right now, if you see a young Elise over there, it is dreaming to go to Africa. The U.S. is not the dream anymore. Like, the American dream is kind of shaking because people are concerned. Am I safe? What am I doing? Is that really where I'm going to make the money? Or is just where I'm going to survive? Am I going to survive? So I wouldn't say that is left, but it's really a concern around the world. And you see in Africa, it's still, I spend a lot of time in Kenya because of ENDA, and it's still between UK and the US, but you see people shifting. Maybe home is where we should be.
Yeah.
If we develop over here, if we grow around our community, if we do more for ourselves, maybe it should be the best place to be. Yeah. So that is my understanding, my view. It's me talking to people around the world, and it is also my personal opinion. That's how I see.
Yeah. Let's suppose all of these people here that they were entrepreneurs and they may be looking outside of the U.S. to do business. Which country outside of Africa would you recommend? Brazil, we were just talking about
Not
that.
just because I'm Brazilian, but Brazil is definitely a good place to go to invest. If we are talking about our community, Brazil is 56% black.
56% black in Brazil.
56% black. That is what the data say, the official data say, but we know there is more. Brazil has the blackest city in the world outside of Africa, that is Salvador, and the blackest state, that is Bahia. We have opportunity to connect directly to ourselves. We don't have to go around. So Innovate Studios, one of our businesses is in Brazil with this purpose, right? There's other business in the whole group that is also based in Brazil. Our headquarters are there. There's a huge opportunity to connect, to grow, to build. And I would say that the doors are open. We just have to talk to each other. We have to connect. We have to do better.
Yeah, Africa, Brazil, 2 countries, 1 continent to keep an eye on, right? Juan, I was listening to your interview on Tavis Smiley to kind of shift it back. You got about 9 minutes left here about the unity between black and brown communities and how we don't talk to each other. We spend more time maybe going at each other instead of talking to each other to do business. Again, $5 trillion worth of spending power there. And the quote you said is, for the African American community to get where it needs to get to, it needs Latino support. For the Latino community to get to where it needs to get to on immigration reform, we need African American support. Elaborate on how we can better strengthen that unity between the 2 groups.
Well, we can strengthen it through conversation, through dialogue, through forums like this, where we can actually share ideas. You know, look, there has been a lot of tension within the African American and Latino community for a long time. You know, Latino men voted overwhelmingly for this president, and they found out. They found out.
Yeah.
Right? But we need to break that cycle. We need to start working together because we're not going to be able to get to where we want to get to. There's just so much that connects us from a health perspective, from a small business perspective, and that's really the gap that I'm basically trying to address. And there's 2 sides to this conversation. There's a workforce component to it, where we make up over 50% of the workforce, but we're also the consumer side of it, okay? We're setting trends. We're setting cultural trends, for example. You know, from a fashion perspective, the African American community leads that. From a music and entertainment perspective, what would these corporations do if they lost 1 million customers tomorrow? Because that's what Trump is talking about. He's talking about deporting 1 million immigrants. And they're not just Latinos, they're black from Haiti, from Ethiopia, and they're Muslim from Eastern European countries as well.
Yeah. You just mentioned the big, beautiful bill. We can talk all day about what's wrong in it. Is there anything right in it that will help black and brown businesses that you've seen? And it just was passed last night, so, you know, if you don't have, that's fine.
I mean, look, there's $168 billion appropriated to immigration enforcement. Literally more than will be appropriated to defense of this country. That's a concern. The short-term tax benefits are short-term. They will expire in 2 years. You may get a tax saving of $400, but you're going to have an increase in health-related costs of over $4,000 per family. So we don't think it's good at all. If they are restructuring the levels of power and the redistribution of wealth. Make no mistake, that's what this bill is about.
Yeah. Robert, I want to shift to you, right? We can look around the world or look around and stay in this country, as a matter of fact. Again, so many black and brown businesses, 8.7 million total. What's one that's doing it the right way, overcoming the odds, and they're thriving economically? They're doing it the right way that somebody in this crowd can look at that company and mimic. Who you got?
It's Hello 7, and their CEO is Rachel Rogers, and she wrote a book called We Should All Be Millionaires, and they recently had a conference 2 weeks ago, 500 black and brown women together, many of them that haven't yet left their jobs. But what she is doing at that company is taking these women through a 12-month business accelerator program. And people that have been through that program have started leaving jobs that they weren't even making six figures at. And within 9 to 12 months, they've gone from multiple six figures, some of them even reaching seven figures. And I love the most about it is that it's not just about wealth building for your family, but there's a huge foundational aspect to how they run their company. And so a lot of the money in that company goes to their foundation that really helps Black and brown women when they are in the hospital giving birth. And I just think they're absolutely doing it right and how they're working together with communities.
Juan, you have a Latino company that's doing it the right way that maybe Black Americans, that we can mimic them?
There is, and I feel really terrible because I can't remember their name, but let me tell you the outline of it. Two Latinos from Chicago started an AI chat company.
An AI chat company?
An AI chat company that has raised over $1 billion.
Wow. And you forgot their name?
In 4 years. I know, it's escaping me. But listen, they're not hard to find. I'm going to get it to you, Jabari, so you can write about these two gentlemen. AI and technology really is changing the landscape. Look, I started a technology company back in 2002. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I bought a $1,000 laptop, and I wrote $1 million proposal, and I sold it. That's it. I didn't have to go out and get financing or debt financing or friends and family. If you have an idea, and it's a good idea, and you can sell it, you can start with paying customers on day one. And you can grow and you can scale that.
Yeah. Well, I want to stick with you for a minute because I would be doing the crowd a disservice if I do not talk about the incoming technology, talking about agentic AI. How many in the crowd, raise your hands if you have on your phone right now Google Notebook? Right. I know one person does. I told her about it. That's it. It should be more people with their hands raised. That is a very powerful app. If you got Instagram and you got all those other social media apps, you should be having Google Notebook. You can download a 50 or 100-page PDF document, upload it to Google Notebook, and it will spit out a podcast talking about that, what you just uploaded, in 5 seconds. Think about what I just said, right? That will help customer service. Right? If you're a small business, agentic AI will help your customer service. You need to invest and you need to be playing with Google Notebook, right? Gen AI is one thing, agentic AI is another, right? When I mention those two techs, Juan, what would you tell the audience about making sure that they keep up with AI tech? Because Black and brown communities seem to be the ones that's lacking behind.
Absolutely critical, not just from a business perspective, from a community perspective. Our children need to know this. We will be left behind if we do not embrace this technology revolution at the end of the day. And for me, that's the biggest concern. There are laws that haven't been written yet that will discriminate against our community. They will. So we need to get out there. Look, the free versions of these things are great. It's a good place to start. But ChatGPT has something called deep research. It's $200 a month. It is incredible. You would literally have a PhD working side by side with you for $200 a month, doing all your reports, all your analysis. I use it to analyze the bill. 1,100 pages. They turn back an hour of full analysis of the impact on immigration, for example. These tools are absolutely incredible. Use them. Yeah. Take the time. It will pay off in spades.
Yeah, at least the incoming technology. You're in a consumer goods space. So how is that the new technology helping NVH Studios, and what are you guys seeing?
It is helping a lot. We are having right now a whole different approach to technology in the fashion company as well. But the group has also a technology company. So we can't. There's one thing that I said in the back, but I think that this is more to this conversation right here. We can't treat what they say that is gap in our community as something that is not opportunity. So we have the opportunity right now to change the game, right? The technology is there. Everything's there. AI is there. We can have a podcast in 5 seconds. Two people in a conversation seems real, very real. So customer service, but also the database. right? One thing that we miss all the time is that we don't have our own data. They have our data. They know what's the billions that they're making out of us, but we don't know and we don't control. We don't have the power over it. So we really need to start treating this, what is called gap, as an opportunity. This has to change for us. And it's changing. On our business, it's changing, and other business, I would say, pay attention to it because it's reality. It's not a 2030 thought anymore, movie theater. It is right now, it's happening.
Yeah. I want to read this quote to you as we wrap up here, and this is from Robert, in a 2024 podcast, Robert. Your worth is not determined by who you're attached to. It's determined about how you feel about yourself. As we close this particular conversation, I'm going to give you the first word. Give some closing advice to these people that's sitting here today about just enhancing their business, enhancing themselves as we sit here in 2025, moving ahead, knowing that we have 3 years left of this current administration. We got midterm elections coming up. We got a whole much more to talk about, right? What's your closing advice to these entrepreneurs, these business owners?
Get focused. I think we all play with time. And if I could go back, or if I could be exactly where you were right now, I would get into a business coaching program or be with a mentor that has a proven track record of helping people. And I don't think we talk enough about sacrifice, and it's going to cost. But the opportunity that's on the other side is what you have always longed for and always desired. And I truly believe, why not you? And so whatever it is, it's time.
Get focused. Juan, your closing advice.
Get comfortable in uncomfortable spaces. Okay? Be comfortable in uncomfortable spaces. If you're the only Latino, if you're the only woman, if you're the only African American or black person in the room, get comfortable. Network, ask for help. You will be surprised how many people will be willing to give you a hand and help lift you up.
Yeah. Elise?
Build your foundation.
Build your foundation.
Yeah. Never forget that your business is there because you had a dream, because you desire, because you had a plan. Build your foundation. Get focused is one of the things to do when you're building your foundation. Stay rooted. Believe on what you believed the first time. Make sure that your foundation is there. Process is very important. And make sure to connect within ourselves. Our community is here for that. We are here to develop a better ecosystem, to create it and to make it better for all of us. You know, we are not just one right now. We have to walk as community. We have to walk together. So build your foundation, stay rooted, and everything's going to work out.
Yeah, and I will tell you all to follow up, right? And what does that mean? Follow up with each other. You're getting all these business cards. Don't be putting those in a drawer. Follow up with those individuals. Talk to them. Beg them, right? Get their time. Follow up with each other. Talk to your Latino brothers and sisters, right? Talk to the other black businesses and entrepreneurs. Follow up. Elise, Juan, Robert, thank you for the time. Jabarian, thanks for listening.
Jabari.